woman who has a man who is every bit of, if he wanted to, he would. As the wife or the partner to that woman, you also have to make sure you are, if she wanted to, she would. Because as much as he's pouring into you and taking care of you and making sure all of your needs are met, you also have to do the same for him. I have found myself having to reevaluate the way that I approach him. His love language is care. It's giving. It's gifting. It's being everything that I need emotionally, mentally, physically. He is picking up my mood when I am sad. He is reassuring me that I am beautiful when I am a hot mess with 4 pigtails and a greasy face. He is all the things that I need him to be for me. But in turn, I have to be all the things that he doesn't say he needs. So I am very vocal. You know when I'm upset, you know when something is bothering me. My emotions do not hide from my face. It's right there. He is not. He is a very much hold it inside, and I'm just dealing with it, and this is where I have to be. I am learning even now after over 20 years of knowing him how to read him and understand the things that he needs. I was not raised in a house to cater to a man. Right. That's not something that's inherent to me. It's not something that I know how to do without question or without ask. I've had to learn how to do it. And in learning how to do it, I take cues from him. So the same things that he does for me. So if I go to work and I tell him I've had a horrible day, it's awful, everything has gone wrong and it's just been awful, I might come home to a candlelit bubble bath and a massage. And so in turn, I do those same things for him. Even if he doesn't say he's had a bad day, just I got off earlier, his dinner is made, I'm making sure he has a shower ready, his clothes are ready for bed, his food is warmed up in the oven. Just little things to make sure that you are returning the favor just like he's given to you, making sure that he is taken care of. We as women can sometimes be so used to receiving that we forget to give and pour back into the person that's pouring into us.
What I would say is that statement, if he wanted to, he would, is partially right. I don't know if I completely agree with that. To a certain extent, yes. But what I would say is if he's able to, he will. I'll change it to that and try to at least couple those two together. And the other thing I would like to point out is you got to create the environment for him to want to do the things that you said that he should be doing for you. And really, it's just really important to realize that both of you should be creating this environment for one another, because you can take a look at women, and you know how men, they like to harp on, good old grown up time, the horizontal time, and women will say, well, you need to create this environment for women to be willing to do these things with you, even if you're a husband. Well, it kind of goes both ways. You got to make sure that you're just creating this environment for one another.
Remember last year when I was supposed to go to Costa Rica and I got up all early in the morning and went to that airport and sat in that airport and then got on that airplane and sat on that airplane for 3 hours before they canceled my flight. And then you came and got me. And I was in tears. Because I wanted to go so bad. I was so horrible. Excited. It was a girls' trip. I was ready to go. You talked to me the whole ride. We're an hour away from the airport. You talked to me the whole way, asking me, what can you do? How can I make it better? Well, how much was this trip that we had? Maybe we can plan it and go next month. Maybe, we could take the boy. Like, you were ready to do whatever it was to dry up my tears. You came, you got me, you took me to the mall. I didn't want to get out of the car. You went and got me food. It was good. I was still upset. You bought me clothes. I was still upset. And now here we are a year later, getting ready to go on our trip that we have planned. and you made it happen. All because I was sad.
Shouldn't have took a year, though. I'm sorry.
Listen at you. Listen at you. It shouldn't have taken a year. It took a year because we had to plan vacation time and make sure the kids were straight, because we're going without the kids. You had to get a new passport because you lost yours. It was a whole ordeal that went in to this trip. But you made it happen because I was sad. Just because I was sad. You go above and beyond regularly on a regular day basis, not even just something like a trip, just a regular thing because you love me, because you want to see me happy.
Because I'm in love with you. Let's get that right.
I personally think that that was absolutely beautiful. Um, and that's usually what I'm talking about when I talk about like relationships between men and women. There has to be reciprocity. Like, I am going to give you the energy that you give me, and vice versa. I think that that whole thing was absolutely beautiful. So, I do agree with taking care of your person. But if it's not reciprocated, I don't think that uh, there's any drive, any like motivation to do that for your partner. So a lot of things kind of fizzle out if you're not returning your partner's energy. So I think that that was really beautiful. I love how she talks about her man. I love how he looks at her, and it looks like he dotes on her, and we don't see that a whole lot. And I really like when people find their person and they really take care and they love each other and they love on each other. So reciprocity is all I've ever wanted, and it's a thing that I personally have been missing in relationships is reciprocity. I would love the energy that I give, and I almost never receive it. And I think that that's true for a lot of the women that I know. I don't know about most women. I'm not even talking about most women or in general or nothing like that. But the women that I know and me, that's usually the problem.
So yeah, that was very positive dynamic of marriage. So that's great. Um, for majority of women, it's not really like I don't want to say oh it's because the people I know. It's just kind of globally what I've been seeing is reciprocity is not given because some women feel like, let's say, the man is not doing enough. So there's this thing where if the lady is working, like both parties are working, they'll complain like the husband is not helping with homework, or he's not doing these type of things. I'm doing everything. I'm a single mom in the marriage and all of that type of stuff. um I think that some of the relationships that I'm seeing, some of it can be a misunderstanding. I do believe that we as women have to learn our man and what they can offer. So if they can't offer certain things, I'm not saying they can't help with homework, but maybe they're good in a certain subject where they could actually be beneficial to the child, then that sounds like a conversation that we as women need to have. So like the dynamic of the video that JR showed is basically showing that they're having conversations and they're being observant to each other. So if there's issues in the marriage or relationship, it's kind of like have a talk. Don't just say you need to do this and you need to do that because you're my husband and you're the father and all that stuff. It could just be a simple conversation to help cultivate and fix things. So I think it's just a lack of communication in the community where in some cases where marriages are not working, like how we seen in that video. So I think that we all should just kind of learn our person and have these conversations. And it can be uncomfortable, but because you guys are together, then make it work. It may take a couple months, it may take a year to get on the same page, but at least you get there. I think a lot of us give up too easy um, to have that type of dynamic of that video. I think that a lot of people can have that connection if they just be patient. Because obviously you pick the person you want to be with. So, all right, cool. Kind of ride along through with it. Um, Reciprocation is given when you guys love each other, obviously. So, um, That's all I have to say.
I think there was some good points made. She did say that a lot of times people don't understand how to even please their person anymore. She had to like really make a conscious effort to think about what it is that his desires and needs actually are. And I think a great portion of us don't really do that. That reciprocity thing. If you're, one thing she said was that people are used to being on the receiving end. And that's easy. And you'll think you're in a great relationship because you're always on the receiving end. But a good portion of men won't voice their opinions. They'll just go with the flow. They'll just be on autopilot and won't explain what it is that they actually want. And sometimes they'll get too wrapped up into making sure their wife is good and they won't be good themselves. And it'll eventually be detrimental to the relationship because the man will just grow weary of it. And depending on who your person is, sometimes if you try to voice the things that you actually want, they might see it as an attack. So there are some people who are, that far gone to where you would try to express your needs and like, well, damn, you don't think I do enough? And it'll just be a combat situation. So sometimes when you're in a situation like that, I don't even know what you do to get out of it. But if you're fortunate enough to have an opportunity to where you still are in the vetting process, you have to see what people do naturally. And you normally hear me mention the word considerate. That's the most attractive trait to me ever. If I see a woman who's considerate, then all right, that's what I need in life because you're not going to have to ask them too much. They're going to be thinking for you sometimes. If you have a good partner, they are in tune with you. They're making that conscious effort to see what your needs are. They know your strengths, they know how to make them better, and they know your weaknesses, and they know how to make that better. And they're going to be tapped in. They're going to know what they need to do for you. But it has to be a person who wants to do it. It has to be a person who's not selfish. Being with a selfish person can be a nightmare, or being with the person who's just unaware, that can also be a nightmare because I don't think that people are being malicious, right? And again, no one is the antagonist in their movie called Life. Everyone usually feels like they are doing the right thing, but many of us just don't have the ability to be self-aware and reflect on our own actions. So two things I would always say to look for: a person who is self-aware, because if not, you're not going to be able to communicate with them effectively. And many of the things that any issues, any gripes are always going to be seen as an attack, and a person that's considerate.
I personally don't have a problem with what she said. I think those two, seem like they genuinely love each other. The problem is we do things for the wrong person. And then when we don't get that back, and at the end of the day, that person's not into you. Men and women, we got to find that person that wants to do those things, go above and beyond. But I personally don't have a problem with what she said about their relationship. It's unfortunate that more than enough people don't do reciprocity in their marriage. It takes two to make it work. So if he's going above and beyond for you, you should go above and beyond for him, and vice versa. But you want to do it for the right person, and that's just what I get out of it. Especially when we're talking about marriages. So yeah, I don't have a problem with what she said.